All right, everybody. Welcome back to part 2, Electric Boogaloo, of my 2026 VHS collection overview. We're going to wrap up the bigger box sets on top here, and then we will jump into at least this shelf, which is all clamshell VHS. Again, clamshell, crunchy packaging, I don't know, whatever the hell you want to, I think the proper name is clamshell. But people give it different names just like anything else. Excuse me. So, there you go. Let's go ahead and let's do it. So, I do have up here all but one, which is in the other one's in the other room, but I have most of the X-Files box sets, because X-Files, they did the individual releases, and then they just repackaged them in box sets. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th and final box set is in the other room, and I don't think I've watched any of these, so there you go. And I know they just announced the X-Files remake by Ryan Coogler. Yeah, we was looking for aliens and shit. Come on, it's a joke. Calm down, people. That's what I got called racist for, so shut up. Anyway, Ryan Coogler sucks. So let's go ahead and get some good X-Files on. So we have, and they called them, what's interesting about these, they called them waves instead of, volumes or sets or whatever. So this would be wave 1, which is the first 3 volumes, so to speak, of season 1. So they did 2 volumes for each season. So up until season 4. Or no, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, up until season 4, and then they stopped releasing them on VHS, and then I think they started coming out on DVD. So we'll see. But this is volume 1, or wave 1, whatever you want to call it, which has the first 3 volumes. And most of the episodes, okay, I shouldn't say that. It was a mix of the mythology and the more popular standalone episodes, the more popular Monster of the Week episodes. So the first tape is the pilot and Deep Throat, which of course, again, are the mythology episodes, and these all have, and actually I don't think it's all of them, but most of them have an interview with Chris Carter, which all ended up on the DVD and the Blu-ray releases, which is very cool. And also, I don't think all of them had it, but most of them had art cards. I need to find out which ones I have and which ones I don't have. I think I might have had them written down somewhere, but I don't think all of them had the art cards. I could be wrong about that, but it was a good chunk of them. Then we have volume 2, which, okay, this is backwards. Okay, let me switch. I don't know why they released volume 3 first, but they did, for whatever reason, my bad. So then we have volume 2, which is Conduit and Ice. Which Ice is actually one of my favorite episodes, because that was the one where it was, they went to the Arctic and there was the parasite creatures and they were trying to kill everybody. I think Timothy Carhart, I think, was in that episode, if I'm not mistaken. Was he in that? No. Who was in that? Jeff Cobber. I'm sorry, Jeff Cobber, or Kober, was in that. Timothy Carhart was in the episode where he was going on the internet trying to get the fat girls to go out with him because he would kill them to get their blubber. That's right. It was the 90s, baby. Anyway, but Ice is actually one of my favorite episodes. That particular episode, I don't think ever got released. And then overseas, like Buffy, overseas, I think in Japan and Europe, they did more that came out on VHS. And then in Japan, they put out the first 7 seasons of the X-Files on Laserdisc, which is very cool. I would like to get those. Then we have Volume 3, so Season 1, Volume 3. That's how I like to call it, which is Fallen Angel and Eve. Which Eve was the killer twins. Oh, this one's a rental. I got this at the video store where my cousins live. So cool. So yeah, I guess when I got these box sets, the ones that I had, I just swapped them out. Alright, then we have Wave 2, which is the other half of the Season 1 tapes. And the boxes all kind of look the same. And then each of the individual sleeves look different. Oh, okay. So no. I fucked up. Because they did kind of release these. Well, this one, Volume 1, these go in air date. So that's just how okay, so that one is proper. Here, because the episode was a sequel, they did it that way. And then the rest, yeah, okay, the rest go in order. So we have Season 1, Volume 4, which is Squeeze and Tombs, because Tombs was the sequel to Squeeze from the same season. Say that 5 times fast. So they just incorporated that onto this tape instead of, because it makes sense, because it was 2 monster episodes. And then does this one have? No. So maybe Season 1 didn't have the art cards. Again, I'm not entirely sure. I have to go online and figure that out. Then we have Season 1, Volume 5, which is Beyond the Sea, and EBE, which Beyond the Sea is actually one of my favorite episodes as well, because that's with Brad Dourif as the serial killer. And then EBE was, where they find they think the alien's in the back of the truck and they gotta figure out what's going on. I haven't watched X-Files in a while. Then we have Darkness Falls and the Erlenmeyer Flask, which is Season 1, Volume 6. So you get the finale, and then about a month before the finale. So there you go. Luckily, they did not release Space, which Space is a terrible episode. Unfortunately, Ed Lauder's in it. The second box set I actually got at the local antique mall because the sticker's on the bottom. So then we jump over to Season 2, so I guess this would be considered, again, Wave 3, which I also got this at the local antique mall. And then there's a little note from Chris Carter on the back there. So we have Season 2, Volume 1, which is Little Green Men and the Host. And then speaking of Laserdisc, a lot of these did get released on Laserdisc as well in this same format. It would be 2 episodes, 1 per side, and then there would be, I think the Laserdiscs did have the interviews with Chris Carter as well, which is very cool. Then we have Season 2, Volume 2, Sleepless and Dwayne Barry, 2-parter there with Steve Railsback, which is cool. Or no, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, Dwayne Barry is what's Steve Railsback. Sleepless. Sleepless is actually one of my favorite episodes as well, where it was the Vietnam veterans that they couldn't sleep and they experimented on them, and Tony Todd was in that. I think John Grius, Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, and the werewolf from Fright Night Part 2 and the Monster Squad was in that as well. And then, this is Part 2. So we have Season 2, Volume 3, which is Ascension and One Breath. So Ascension was the second part of Dwayne Barry, which, yes, has Steve Railsback. And also, I think it's Dwayne Barry. I think it's the first part. That actually had Red Right Hand by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds before it was in Scream. So there you go. And then we have Season 2, Wave 2 of Season 2. So this is 4, 5, and 6. Again, I actually got a bunch of these at the local antique mall for $5 a pop. So you can't go wrong. Again, there's another note from Chris Carter. So this is the second half of Season 2. So we have Season 2, Volume 4, Irresistible, and Die Hand, Die Verletz. I think that's how you say it. I'm a little rusty on my German, I believe. But a lot of these sci-fi titles are a little hard to pronounce for most people, so there you go. But that was Die Hand, Die Verlitz. That was the one where, yeah, they were They had like a cult with the kids. They were like experimenting on the kids and such, which Heather McComb was in that episode, who would play Jubilee in the Generation X film, and she was in Kickboxer 2, and she was in Beethoven 2. She was actually married to James Van Der Beek for a little bit. Rest in peace once again, James Van Der Beek. Then we have Season 2, Volume 5, Colony and Endgame, with the submarine, as you can see on the cover there. So yeah, we're getting into more mythology episodes here, which for the first 5 seasons it was fine, and then after that they didn't have a plan, so they just started pulling shit out of their ass. So there's that. Then we have Season 2, Volume 6, Humbug and Anasazi, which of course Anasazi would lead into Season 3, which we'll get into in a moment here. Which is the 3-parter, which my brother got mad because I was watching it and he was so invested in it, and he's like, how many fucking parts is this episode? I said, it's 3. He goes, it better not be fucking 4. I'm like, it's not. Alright, then we're getting into Season 3 here, so this is the first half of Season 3. Get another note from Chris Carter, and another pickup at the Antique Mall, so very cool. You know what? There's no art cards in these because I have them elsewhere, so that's why. So I took them out of here and I put them upstairs with my trading cards and stuff. So I need to go through those and see which ones I have and which ones I'm missing, so then I can get a complete set. So there you go. So we have Season 3, Volume 1, which picks up with The Blessing Way and Paperclip, which is the conclusion to Anasazi from Season 2. Then we have Season 3, Volume 2, Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose, and War of the Coprophages, I think is how you say that. Of course, I'm not an English major. I should have been, I guess. But Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose is one of my favorites with Peter Boyle. And then we have Season 3, Volume 3, Nisei and 731. So again, more anthology episodes here. And I do have the movie, because I can never remember if I have the first X-Files movie on VHS, but I do. It's elsewhere. Then we have Season 3, the other half of Season 3. I actually got this one sealed, and it does have a couple hype stickers on there, which I kept. And there is the note from Chris Carter. I think the first 2 didn't have notes, but the rest of them so far have. Come on. Oh, this one. Okay, hold on. Yes, I know the laundry's done. Okay. 21. Okay, so now they're in the proper order. So we have Season 3, Volume 4, Piper Maru and Apocrypha, I think is how you pronounce that. And these might actually have the art cards in it, because it feels like there's something else in here. Yes, so this one actually does have the art cards. So here is Piper Maru, and there always the same deal. There would be the art on the front, and then the back would be a quote. And then here is Apocrypha, sorry, on there. So, okay, these have it. The other ones, like I said, I guess I have those elsewhere. I have to go through them and find them. We'll get to that in a minute. And then we have Season 3, Volume 5, which is Pusher and Jose Chung's From Outer Space, which Jose Chung's From Outer Space is another one of my favorite episodes of the show. And here is the card for Pusher and Jose Chung's From Outer Space. And then we wrap up Season 3 with Volume 6, which has Wet Wired and Talitha Kumi. So that's okay. So we have Wet Wired and Talitha Kumi. And then it also had a little ad for the X-Files fan club, which no, I was not in, because I didn't really see the X-Files till later. So there you go. And then we have Season 4. This is the first set, which I did get this one sealed as well. I don't think I paid $29.99 for it, but oh well. So there you go. And like I said, I do have the last volume that came out, the last set that came out. It's just in the other room because I haven't. Again, I don't think I've watched any of these yet, but like I said, when I like with Laserdisc. Well, Laserdisc I keep track of, but with VHS, all the VHS that I bought since I moved in here and I haven't watched yet is in here. Like a lot of this stuff I either have not watched or I haven't seen in forever. So there you go. We got shit flying all over the place. So we have Season 4, Volume 1, which is Hidden Volk and Home. Which Home is one of the best episodes of the X-Files. I don't think anybody would disagree. And it was always one of my favorites. That was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of episode. So here's for Hidden Volk and Home. So yeah, like I said, I think the other art cards for Season 2 and 3 I have elsewhere. So let's see. And then we have Season 4, Volume 2, Unruh and Paper Hearts. Which Paper Hearts had Tom Noonan in it. Once again, rest in peace, Tom Noonan. And then we have the card for Unruh and Paper Hearts. And then the last one we have for now is Season 4, Volume 3, Tunguska and Terma. And then we will see the last box set in another part. Many, many parts down the road. And then we have another ad here for the X-Files fan club. So there's that. All right, and then, as I mentioned earlier, I do have the first 4 seasons of The Sopranos on VHS, because that's what they released. So there you go. And I do, actually, when I was a kid, my parents had these on VHS, but we only had the first 3 seasons. And when I first started watching the show, as I got a little bit older, I actually think we might have still had these. I'm not sure. No, I think we had gotten them on DVD at that point. So there you go. But glad to get these back in the collection on VHS. And these were quite popular back then. Like I said, I think The Sopranos, like I mentioned earlier with the promo box up here, this was a show that DVD was really starting to come into play when this show started. So it came out on DVD and then VHS was still around. And it is funny because the pilot, they talk about Laserdisc. The second episode, they talk about DVD. So I always thought that was funny. So there you go. They fold up and then all the tapes are in there, which is very cool. Yeah, because the pilot, they're talking about, there's a scene which has a different priest where they're talking about Laserdisc, and then in the second episode, that's when they're stealing the DVD players out of the truck. So Fast and the Furious ripped off The Sopranos. Go figure. Just going to show here. So they do make a mural, which is very cool, and then you flip it, and it's just the other side. So you do get the first 3 tapes have 3 episodes, and then the last 2 have 2 episodes, because the first 5 seasons actually were 13 episodes each, but season 5 never came out on video. So you have the pilot, 46 long, and Denial, Anger, and Acceptance, which is very cool. Then we have Meadowlands, College, and Pax Soprano. And the front art is always the same on these, and then the back you get your little write-ups about the episodes, and you get some different pictures. And we have Down Neck, The Legend of Tennessee Moltisanti, and Boca. And I do remember when we got them on DVD rather. We gave these to my grandfather because he was actually fighting cancer at the time, and he was going back and watching them because they were showing them on A&E. So we gave him the VHS so he could catch up. And unfortunately, when he died, they threw those out, and I was pissed because I wanted them, but it is what it is. Then again, the last 2 volumes have 2 episodes each. So we have A Hit is a Hit, and Nobody Knows Anything, and then Isabella, and the I Dream of Janine Cusimano, which was the first season finale. And what are we doing here? Okay, why did they do it that way? Oh, it's because I had it. Yeah, it's because I had it backwards. My bad. Because I'm like, why did they fuck up the artwork? They didn't. It's the reverse. But yeah, I still really like these. Again, it's cool to still have these after all these years. But like I said, they only put out the first 4 seasons on VHS, and then at that point DVD had come into full swing, so they just stopped putting them out on VHS. But I do have some episodes from season 5 that came out as screeners, which we'll get into later because I have those elsewhere. Then we have season 2, which again might be my favorite season of the series. And same thing, they just open up and all the tapes are in there. And it is again the same thing. The first 3 tapes have 3 episodes apiece, and then the last 2 have 2 episodes because it's an odd number of episodes. And again, the artwork is pretty much the same on the first 2 volumes. 3 and 4 they switched. Well, actually, yeah, 3 and 4 they switched it up a little bit. So we have guy walks into a psychiatrist's office, which we already covered with the promo box. Do Not Resuscitate and Toodle Fucking Ooh, which as a kid I thought was absolutely hilarious that an episode had fuck in the title, but it's HBO, so they were allowed to do that. Then we've got Volume 2, which is Commendatory, Big Girls Don't Cry, and The Happy Wanderer, which Commendatory they actually went to Italy to shoot, which is cool. Then we have Volume 3, D-Girl, Full Leather Jacket, and From Where to Eternity. Volume 4, we got Bust Out and House Arrest. And Volume 5, The Knight in White Satin Armor and Funhouse. The finale, where they kill pussy. Sorry. Spoiler alert for a show over 25 years old at this point. I can't find pussy anywhere! Since apparently I am Tony Soprano, which I've been hearing my whole fucking life, so there's that. Then we have Volume 3, or Season 3, which this was always my favorite poster, or season artwork, or whatever you want to call it. I remember when this season came out, and that picture was everywhere, which is very cool. And this is actually Canadian, but the content is all the same. It just has the Canadian sticker for the rating on there. And we're actually watching this. We're actually watching The Sopranos right now. Almost done. We're on the last season. But I think maybe next time I watch these, I'll bust out these because I haven't watched these in a while. So we got volume. Actually, the artwork here is where it gets different. Yeah, well, I said that 3 and 4 gets different because the front they used different pictures for everybody. So sorry, but here they switch it up a little bit. So no, okay, I misunderstood. My bad. Same thing. So you get 3 episodes on the first 3 tapes, and then 2 on the last 2. So volume 1, Mr. Ruggiero's Neighborhood, Prosha Luvshka, I think that's how you say it, and Fortunate Son. I am not Russian, as you can tell. I am Italian. Just put it in there for now. Then we have volume 2, Employee of the Month, Another Toothpick, and University. Actually, if I remember correctly, because my mom used to tape these back in the day, back when people did that, before DVR and all this other shit. We didn't get a DVR until it was. I think we had one at the old house. Yeah, we did. I remember recording some stuff at the old house. Yeah, but it was way later. So Sopranos towards the end is when DVR started to come in play. My mom was still taping episodes to VHS. I don't have any of those anymore. I think they all got trashed. But I want to say maybe my dad rented this the first season, because I think I could be wrong on that. Again, I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago, but I remember shit from 25 years ago. Oh well. And then we have Volume 3, Second Opinion, He Is Risen, and The Telltale Musadel. So there you go. Which is weird because that picture of AJ, that might have been from season 2 because he still looks a little chubby there. But season 3, he had really lost a lot of weight. Season 1, he was fat. Season 2, he lost weight. Season 3, he really lost weight. So that might be an old picture. Then we have Volume 4, To Save Us All from Satan's Power, and everybody's favorite episode, Pine Barrens. I'll leave you here, you one-shoot cocksucker. Then we have Volume 5, Amour Foi, or Fou, or whatever, and The Army of One, which has the finale. There's that. Yeah, so that had to be an older picture, because even if you look at, he's not on the spot. Yeah, he is. Yeah, because if you look at the main shot here where he's standing on top of the bench, he really looks thin there. So that had to be, I never noticed that before. Yeah, that had to be an older picture that they probably just never used, and they just needed something. Because like I said, the first season he was fat, and then season 2 he lost some weight, and then season 3 he really lost weight. I guess HBO told him to do that, or he did it on his own, so there you go. And then I did get this one sealed, but we do have season 4, which again was the last of the ones to come out on VHS, which is very cool. And I also love that shot as well of them. I don't know where it was taken, but yeah, you can clearly see the camera flash, which is cool. But I like that bouncing off the mirror. Always thought that was really cool. And again, got some trinkets in there. Same setup as the rest. Very nice, very, very nice indeed. Damn, half an hour went by already. So we have The Tao of Bada Bing, Words and Wisdoms from the Sopranos book. I don't have that one. And then got just a bunch of merch and stuff in here, which is very cool. And then win more of your favorites. Do this survey and you can win DVDs. Okay, well I already have. I have Oz on DVD. That was sent to me. I have Band of Brothers on Blu-ray. I have The Sopranos on Blu-ray. The rest I don't give a fuck about. So I don't give a fuck about Sex and the City. So we got Volume 1 for All Debts, Public and Private, No Show, and Christopher. Not Christopher from the show, Christopher Columbus. which a lot of people consider that to be one of the worst episodes, where they're protesting about Columbus and stuff. I never thought that. That's just me. Then we have Volume 2, The Wait, Pie O My, and Everybody Hurts. Let Uncle Fob serenade you. We got Volume 3, Watching Too Much Television, Mergers and Acquisitions, and Whoever Did This. There's that mummy-headed fuck Uncle Junior. I'm just kidding. Dominic Chianese, great actor, wonderful singer. Still going strong in his, I think his late 90s. I think he's like 96 or 97 years old and still looks good. I saw some recent pictures of him. Looks good. I think his mind is still very sharp and still getting out there and doing some stuff, which is awesome. Good to see that. Then we got Volume, of course, nothing like the character that he played, but that's why they call it acting. Then we have Volume 4, The Strong Silent Type, and Calling All Cars. And last but not least, we have Volume 5, Eloise and Whitecaps, which maybe the best finale of us, maybe the best season finale, Whitecaps. Just incredible acting, if you've never seen it, from James Gandolfini and Edie Falco, and they both won Emmys for that episode, which is very cool. But their acting in that is absolutely incredible. And it's, again, I know that that's why they call it acting, but just the scenes when especially in that episode, where they're hating each other and they're yelling and they want to kill each other, and just the love that they both had for each other, both personally and as professionals, was incredible. And it just shows you how good they were, how really good they were as actors and what they could do. And yeah, again, that was I'm sure a lot of that stuff was very tough to do, emotionally and going up and down, but they just, especially in that episode, they knocked it out of the park, and they definitely earned their flowers, so to speak. And Season 4 was the only one that we did not have back in the day. We had the first 3, but we never had Season 4, so there you go. But fear not, I do have some screeners and stuff, which we'll get to a little bit later. I think they're back here on this show. Alright, well, we're going to roll probably another 20-25 minutes here. So, a couple more box sets, and then we'll get into some of the other stuff. So, do have the Rocky 20th Anniversary Commemorative Gift Set, which has the first 5 Rocky movies, which I never had this one as a kid. I didn't get the Rocky movies till DVD. I didn't get them on VHS till later on. But always really wanted this box set. I love the American flag motif and everything about this set. So, yep, I didn't get this till many years later, but that's okay. I love this box set. I do have the first 3 Rockies. I do have other copies, which we'll get to later. So, of course, we have the original with the shitty Photoshop Sylvester Stallone artwork there. And is there anything inside here? There is not. Then we got Rocky 2. Always thought was a underrated sequel. And to be honest, I actually like the theme of Rocky 2. That would be my favorite. Redemption. It's like that disco type of theme. I always thought that was the best one, in my opinion. Oh, there is some stuff we'll get to in a minute here. Then we got Rocky 3. Another great sequel. I like all the Rocky movies. I don't like the Creed movies, but I like all the Rocky films. Rocky 4, or Rocky 5 even, I'm sorry. Of course I love Rocky 4. And then we have Rocky 4, which 1, 3, and 4 still have the shrink wrap on it, which is nice. They may have still been sealed when I got them. I'm not sure. Can't remember. And then, of course, we have Rocky 5. But I like Rocky 5. And yeah, there is, forgot this was in here, there's a little booklet about the movies, about Rocky, which is very cool. So very, very nice. And of course, again, Rocky Balboa, or as I just call it, Rocky 6. I hate that they did that. I really do. Same with Rambo 4. I just call it Rambo 4. Like, what the fuck? Unfortunately, Rocky Balboa never came out on VHS. It may have come out in Korea. I have to look that up. And then I got this one sealed actually, but I do have the Lethal Weapon Legacy, which has the director's cuts of the first 3 movies, and then it has Pure Lethal, which is the making of documentary that came out when Lethal Weapon 4 did. And got this at Goodwill, but it is originally from Blockbuster, I believe. I think that's what that sticker is underneath, but I don't want to damage it. So there you go. And then, yeah, I did get this sealed. Got the Rocky set at a Goodwill as well. But Goodwill, it's getting harder and harder to find VHS at Goodwill. I was told by several people that it's not all of them, but a lot of Goodwills, they will accept VHS, but then they throw them away. Or if they're rare or they're expensive, they will put them on their online stuff, which sucks. 'Cause I used to go to Goodwills, like every Goodwill used to have VHS, and I would always stop in them because you get them cheap. Now, like the local Goodwill here, the only VHS that they sell is like the Disney titles and stuff. They don't sell, like, you're not going to walk in and find Lethal Weapon, which sucks because I used to go in there all the time and get VHS for nothing, but now they don't want to do it. But there are other Goodwills out there that I have gone to that sell VHS. It's just stupid why they wouldn't. Oh well. So we have the first Lethal Weapon, which was always my favorite. And I do, even though this is not Richard Donner, his director's cut is the theatrical version. They did these without his kind of approval, but I still like that version more, to be honest, because it has the scene with the sniper and everything. Then we got Lethal Weapon 2, and I always loved that metallic artwork. I always thought that was really cool. And of course, we covered these with the DVDs. I still have these on DVD because they never put these out on Blu-ray. Like I said, I think the 4K of the first movie has it, but I don't have that yet. Then we have Lethal Weapon 3. And I had Lethal Weapon 4 at one point, and then I got rid of it for whatever reason. And I just recently got it on VHS again. And then, of course, we have the Pure Lethal making of documentary, which this one's really fun. I really like this. It's got some bloopers and deleted scenes and such in here, which is very cool. And I want to say that this aired on, I think, regular TV when Lethal Weapon 4 came out in the theaters back in the day. So there you go. And we got one last big box set here. This one's kind of gotten a resurgence more recently, but this is the Blockbuster exclusive Halloween trilogy. Do you guys know what's wrong with this? I think you do. That's from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. What movies are in this box set? 1, 2, and 3. Oh well. I don't know who made that decision, but they fucked up. So yes, it has the first 3 Halloween movies in here. Again, I did not get this at a Blockbuster, but I do remember seeing it at Blockbuster back in the day, but I did not get it then. I found this on eBay. So it does have the Blockbuster exclusive version of Halloween, because they did get the rights to Halloween, I think before Anchor Bay did, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe around the same time, or maybe they licensed it. Maybe Anchor Bay licensed it to Blockbuster. But Blockbuster did this for a little bit, where they had this Blockbuster Presents line. The only other movie that I know that they released was Night of the Living Dead, because it was public domain. I do have that one. I think those were the only 2 that they released in this line. I could be wrong. And then they did some animated stuff. They did some kids stuff. I did hear rumors that this was actually edited. They cropped out the nudity, but that is not true. This is the complete original uncut theatrical version of the film. which is cool. And then they put the Good Times releases of Halloween 2 and 3 in here because they had the license to do that at the time. So here is Halloween 2, which I do remember seeing this one at where I go camping. They used to have a little video store in there when they had VHS. They still have a little video store in there, but now it's all DVDs. But back when they did VHS, they had a lot of horror titles for some reason. I remember seeing this one in there as a kid all the time. And you notice something wrong about this one, if you can see it on the camera? Jamie Lee Curtis's name is spelled wrong. So there you go. I don't know how they fucked that up. And then for the names, they did the Scream font. I just noticed that. So there you go. But yeah, good old Good Times. I say that sarcastically because their releases were very shitty. And then we have the Halloween 3 release, which they add. I always like that they added the kids on the front there, because the original poster just had this, which is cool. So there you go. Again, the quality on Good Time is not the best, but they were the cheapo releases that you would find back in the day. I do have some of their. Actually, just got. I know the last update I had Halloween 2, but I bought another copy of it because it came with Halloween 3. So you'll see that in the next collection update. So there you go. But yeah, they did a lot of budget releases back in the day, which you used to find it. I guess they had a deal with Kmart, because you used to see them at Kmart all the time. I have the first, or the pilot of The Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno. I have that on somewhere in here. We'll get to that later. But they did a bunch of stuff again back in the day. Oh shit, I ran out of room. Oh, well, if I turn those around, I should have room. No, not yet. Okay, I gotta move some stuff, but that's okay. Because Tony won't fit. Tone, you're too big. Get out of the ride. Actually, we just watched that. The episode that we just watched was it's called The Ride. It's the one where they're at the Italian festival and the ride goes on the fritz and everything. So we just watched that one. And yeah, I just want to put these back quickly, so it's just easier for me to move around and tell you guys some stories. But yeah, we just watch that. Try to watch The Sopranos at least once a year, because my mom always wants to watch it. And then it's funny because, you know, she's seen the episodes a million times, but she always forgets about stuff. Of course, she's getting older too, but she's like, oh, I don't remember this. Oh, I don't remember that. I'm like, but you've seen these a million times. Oh, yeah, I remember. I'm like, then what the fuck are you asking me for? Gotta love Mom. I do. I love my mother. She's fucking crazy, but that's why I love her. Alright, you know what? These can wait because they're out of the way. So let's go ahead and we'll go another 15 minutes here. And we'll start getting into some clamshells. So yeah, this shelf here is all clamshells. So we have a mix of Disney and different cartoons and some other stuff in here. So let's go ahead and do it. So we will start with some Disney titles. So first up, this one, I don't know why, but they made it smaller. They made the clamshell smaller for some reason, because I'll show you in a moment here. But we have I'll Be Home for Christmas with JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. This was, I think, right when he left Home Improvement. So I think he was going to school. I think he was trying to go to college and kind of get away from acting for a little bit and do some different things. But I always enjoyed this one. I remember watching this back in the day on The Wonderful World of Disney, which they used to air on Sunday nights on ABC. And that's where I first saw it, of course, around Christmas. But this is one I try to watch every Christmas. But a fun movie. Always enjoyed that one. Yeah, I'll put that out because I want to show you. And then we have Max Keeble's Big Move. Rest in peace, Robert Carradine. He's not featured on here, but he is in this movie. Very sad to hear, especially the way he went out. Very, very heartbreaking. Always liked his work. Out of the Carradines, I think him and David were always my favorites, but now they're both gone, sadly. Yeah, blows. But always enjoyed this movie. Always had fun with this one. It is on DVD. I do have this on DVD, but gotta have it on VHS, man. Come on, it's before Disney wanted to molest your children, and as you can see, how much smaller the clamshell is for I'll Be Home for Christmas. I guess they were trying some different things at the time, or they were just being lazy. I don't know. What a surprise, Disney being lazy. Next up, we have Mighty Max, the Skull Master Trilogy, which I used to watch this as a kid. I always really enjoyed this cartoon. And fun fact, Max's protector is named Norman. When my brother was born, I named him Norman. My brother's name is not Norman. My brother's name is not even remotely close to being Norman. But I called him Norman because of that guy right there. So if I ever meet, because I think I want to say Jim Cummings did the voice of Norman. I can't remember. I can't. It's Richard Mole. Richard Mole died. Damn it. If I ever met Richard Mole, I would have told him that story, but unfortunately he is no longer with us. But yeah, I remember watching this show as a kid. This is not on DVD. It is stuck. There's a handful of VHS tapes that came out. I have a couple more elsewhere. But I think this was a couple of the episodes that they just edited together to make a film. But yeah, this show sadly never got a DVD release. I'm pretty sure all the episodes are here on YouTube for free. But unfortunately, nothing modern. You know what I mean? Quality's kind of all over the place because it's an old syndicated cartoon from the 90s. So there you go. Next up, this is a custom release of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I found on eBay. It actually, we'll get into some of the problems with these a little bit later, but this one actually plays fine, and they included a little mini poster. Two, actually, so I kept one in the box, and then the other one's in there somewhere. But yeah, it does. I think it's got some extras at the end. There might be some trailers and stuff. I can't remember. But I bought this before I had an official copy, so because I'm not paying. I would love to get the original media release of Texas Chainsaw, but I'm not paying all that money for it. So there's that. And then next up, we have an old Warner Brothers clamshell, which you'll see plenty more of those probably in a moment here. At least, well, not all of them, but a couple of them we'll get into. But we have The Pack, which is a killer dog movie from the 70s that nobody ever talks about. But the reason why I know about this movie is because one of my best friends to this day, his grandfather actually introduced this movie to us, and it is directed by Robert Klaus, who did Enter the Dragon, and it stars Joe Don Baker. And it's actually, I thought it says it's rated R. I don't think it's actually rated R, though, because I think it's pretty tame from what I remember. But for the longest time, this did not have a DVD release. I think Scam Factory put this out on Blu-ray within the past couple of years, but for the longest time, yeah, this did not have a DVD release. I found this at the local antique mall and grabbed it because I was like, cool, I remember that movie. But yeah, it says it's rated R, but I don't think it's actually rated R, though. I have to look into that. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll go about 10 minutes. Yeah, no big deal. So yeah, but that has since come out on Blu-ray, but when I got it, there was no DVD, and for the longest time, there was not a DVD, but now there is a DVD, so there you go. So, actually, yeah, we'll do this. I gotta fix these shelves. Oh, and that's the thing. These shelves that you see here, so 1, 2, And 3, these were ones that my grandparents had. So when they passed away, I got a lot of their stuff. I kept these just to kind of have them, to remember them and stuff. And some of the other shelves in the DVD and the Blu-ray room are from them as well. So there you go. So I have more of these elsewhere, but I do have a couple of Buffy and Angel screeners. Now these were the ones that were sent out to the press for them to review before the episodes aired, so they could do reviews and get their comments and their thoughts and everything out there. These used to pop up on eBay quite a bit. In more recent years, they're hard to find because people are just holding on to them, because the majority of these never came out on VHS officially. And also back in the day, they were supposed to be returned or destroyed. Luckily, people weren't fucking stupid and they kept them and then they sold them, and then I have a bunch of them. So yeah, whenever I find these, which is hard to find now because again people keep them, I do pick them up because again these are pretty rare, these are pretty hard to come by, and they were never made for public consumption. So there you go. But I think the statute of limitations has expired on these, so I won't get in any trouble. If I do, you're not getting them back. Fuck off. So there's that. If you want them back, you got to pay cash. So this is the Warner Brothers Press Tour Winter 1997 preview cassette, which has the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode The Witch and the pilot for Smart Guy, which is another show that I love. For background purposes only, not for review. So this was probably something that played at a television convention or a press junket or whatever the case was. Probably something they had on the monitors to get people to pay attention to their shows. So there you go. I actually have not watched this, so I do not know if they are rough cuts of the episodes or they are the completed versions or what the case is, because that's the other thing about a lot of these is they will have temporary soundtracks, or special effects won't be done, or there might be some deleted scenes in there. You never know. So that's another reason why these are harder to come by and why people want them, because there's a little bit of extra material sometimes, which some of that kind of stuff we'll get into later, because I do have ones that have that. And then we have Angel, the 2-part season 5 premiere, Conviction and Just Rewards. This is the rough cut review cassette. From what I remember, there's no deleted scenes, additional material. I think some of the music's not there yet. I don't think it's missing any special effects shots. I just think maybe there's some temporary music in there, from what I remember. But this is when Spike jumped over to Angel, which they fucked up because they gave it away months before the episode premiere, so it wasn't really that much of a surprise. So yeah, it is what it is. But very cool to have. I think I have another copy of, I think Conviction ended up on another screener that I have, or maybe it's Just Rewards. We'll cover that later. And what's interesting is at the bottom here, it does say special review copy only, may not be duplicated, transferred, rented, sold, or posted on any website. That this tape is being loaned to you by the WB Television Network for your personal review purposes only. So again, very early internet stuff. People would try to, put this on there and say, look what I have, and not upload them as much, because these, again, were supposed to be returned and destroyed, when they were done. And sometimes there is instructions written on here about that, but this one does not have it. But like I said, these were sent out to the magazines and the newspapers, and even in the, early internet reviewers, to kind of give their thoughts to promote the show. And again, they were supposed to be returned, but luckily that never happened, for the ones that I have at least. So there you go. All right, then we have I want to say, no, this is not the original, but this is the clamshell release of Enter the Dragon with the classic Warner Brothers clamshell look on there. This is not the original release of the film on VHS, but I do have that one. So we'll get to that later, which again, I have, I think, every every American release of Enter the Dragon on VHS because I'm fucking nuts. But that's why you guys like me, I guess. And then we have a couple Chuck Norris clamshells here. First up, we have An Eye for an Eye, which again is one of my favorite of the pre-Lone Wolf McQuade early Chuck Norris movies. And this is Embassy Home Entertainment, so they did this pretty cool. It's stuck. Some of the glue's coming, not well there. Early release. I don't know if, I want to say maybe they did some other movies in this type of packaging, but I don't know. And then we have Walker Texas Ranger Team Cherokee, which for whatever reason Fox put this out. Even though it's a CBS title, so you would think they would work with Paramount on that, but apparently not. Yeah, so this is the 2-part episode that they just edited together. Not to make a movie, like I think it has the fades and everything, but they moved the credits to the end. But this is the other non-Warner Brothers Walker Texas Ranger release that came out. And then there's a little ad in here. Yeah, they also put out Touched by an Angel and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. So I guess CBS had a deal with... Actually, no, they did have a deal with Fox because they did... Fox put out Twilight Zone episodes on VHS. They put out Kolchak the Night Stalker, the movies at least, on VHS. So yeah, they had a deal with them for a while before Paramount, I guess, completely took over. But yeah, this is one of the other Walker releases there. And yeah, we'll do a couple more and then we'll wrap this up. Actually, yeah, we'll do these. We'll do these and then we'll start with Toy Story next time. So I do have the first 3 Dirty Harry sequels in the clamshell packaging. I do have the original Dirty Harry. We covered that last time in the last collection update, but I got these all in one go at a Goodwill, which is very nice. So we have Magnum Force, which again was always my favorite of the Dirty Harry movies. Then we have the Enforcer, which this one's a little sun faded, but you know, for the $2 or whatever I spent to get it, I think it'll be okay. And then we have Sudden Impact, which I think this one's slightly faded, but that's okay. And like I said, I do have Dirty Harry. I just recently got that. So I have the first 4 came out in the clamshell packaging. The Deadpool did not, because the Deadpool came out in '88 and they had already switched over to the standard slip covers. So there's that, or whatever you want to call it. And then the last for this segment, I believe this is the original VHS release. I have multiple copies of this for whatever reason. Well, I know why, because it's Death Wish 2, but this is the original Death Wish 2 release. Warner Brothers put this one out for whatever reason, even though it's Canon Films. I guess they had some kind of a licensing agreement, or they decided to do that for this particular movie. But yeah, again, this is the original Death Wish 2 release. And I always loved that shot of Charles Bronson. I always thought that was cool with the cap and him kind of going incognito to get the creeps, so to speak. And like I said, I do have a couple other Death Wish 2 VHS releases, which we'll cover later on, because those are all standard slipcovers, so they're with the Charles Bronson movies, which are behind me. But we're not going to get to those quite yet, especially not today. But anyway, that is part 2 of my 2026 VHS. No, it's only VHS. I almost said DVD. VHS collection overview. When we jump back into part 3, we'll get into more of the clamshells here. I don't know if we're going to wrap this shelf up, quite so soon here. We'll see if I could stop yapping about everything. But that's what we're working on. That's what we're doing. So we will we'll catch you guys in part 3. So I'm going to put some of these away and stretch my legs a bit, and then we'll come back, and then that'll be the last part that I filmed today, because I got other stuff I got to do. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Later.